Hi, this is just a message for newbies coming to their first PSA convention this weekend. And this is just my personal view. This is nothing official from the PSA. This is just my personal view. You will love it, but just go for it. Do not be daunted. Do not be put off. When you go into the PSA for the first time, and lots of people have said this, it's like you found your tribe. I've worked in all sorts of industries, from sport and broadcasting and comedy, but as soon as I came to the PSA, I felt at home because it's just a room full of oddballs. It's like in the film The Greatest Showman, where you've got all of these freaks that suddenly go, this is me. We're all freaks and we love it. We're like X-Men. We're all just mutants. We're slightly different from everybody else, but that's who we are. And if you walk into that room, you won't because it's virtual, but if, like me, you think this is my tribe, you will stay with it forever. So 2007 I joined. I've been there ever since. So just a few bits of advice. Everybody is incredibly friendly and supportive, but tend not to suffer fools very well. So do not be a fool. Okay, so one thing that people are going to say to you all the time is, so what do you speak about? Okay, that's a pretty obvious question, isn't it? You're at a professional speakers convention. What do you speak about? You need a short, punchy, 30-second answer that says what you talk about. Don't say, oh, well, actually, lots of things, really. I mean, and people are going to instantly think, who's this? So just 30 seconds, short, punchy, what do you speak about? And then crucially, when you get to the end of it, don't carry on talking about yourself. Ask them what they speak about. That's how a conversation works. It's just like in real life. But sometimes I see people that just think, this is my chance. I've got to sell myself. You're not, the other people in the PSA, do not try and sell to them. They are not your target market, unless you coach speakers, and then it might be. But just remember that. Do not try and sell to them. Right, I've just made a few other things here that I'm just going to tell you about. Don't exaggerate. Don't show off. One thing I think, when I first arrived, I thought, what is the PSA? Who are they? Who are these people? What's it all about? It was called the Professional Speakers Association when I joined. It's now the Professional Speaking Association, just a slight change in the name. But they are experts who speak. That was the motto, the slogan when I joined, experts who speak. And I think it's more important to be an expert than it is to be good at speaking. Otherwise, you're just a presenter. So don't worry if you're not very slick at presenting. As long as you're an expert in something, you're going to fit in absolutely perfectly. Obviously, it's good if you can speak well as well. And the motto now is the two aims of the PSA are to speak more and speak better. So all of our sessions will help you to speak more, how to get more gigs, how to interact with bureaus, stuff like that, how to get higher fees, and also how to speak better, in that there'll be plenty of sessions that will teach you how to be a better presenter. Talk to as many people as you can. Now, obviously, the thing with it being a virtual convention is it's not as good. But because it's a virtual convention, in some ways, it's better. The best bits, I always say to people at PSA events, are not necessarily the sessions. It's the coffee breaks. It's the lunch breaks. It's the staying up late in the bar chatting to people. It's having breakfast early in the morning. It's having a sauna and a swim at the hotel pool. And you'll just have brilliant conversations that will start friendships for life. You're not going to get that on a virtual convention. But what we do have is this thing called speed networking. So don't just go to the sessions and then, I'll go and make a cup of tea. In the breaks, that's when you jump in the speed networking. You get 5 minutes in a room with someone going, hi, who are you? Oh, right, I live here. Oh, I know that person. And you'll, in those, your mission in the speed networking is to make friends, but also to get details of people, to see if you can have a Zoom with them later. If there's anything, advice you can offer them, if you have some expertise, they might be useful. Find out what they know that you can ask them. So jump into those speed networking things. Don't just go to the main bits on the program and miss out on the drinks bits in the evening or the speed networking, because they will be the best bits. Don't latch onto someone and then just not let them go. You know, like I say, that you're not trying to sell to people, but if someone is an expert in something, like, I don't know, podcasting or contracts or something, it's fine to have 15 minutes with them on the phone afterwards about it. That's great. But if you then need a day, so I write funny lines for people's talks. If someone rings me up and says, can I just check, is this funny? I'm happy to have a chat with them. But if they want a whole day of me going through their talk, then I think I would want to get paid. So anything, do not take advantage of people. And the more that you get to know the PSA, the more people will do for you. So if you think, what if JFK was in the PSA, ask not what the PSA can do for you, ask what you can do for the PSA. So volunteer, join your local region's committee, maybe eventually become the president, perhaps join the national committee. The more you put in, the more you will get out. Stay up late. I always think it's a good idea. You can sleep after the weekend's done. Stay up late. Go to the comedy night with Alan Stevens on Friday night. It's an absolute institution. It's one of the best bits of the convention. Definitely go to that. Go to Lee Jackson's disco on the Saturday night. Obviously, it's a bit weird at a virtual event, but you'll be dancing around in the kitchen. Trust me, it works. After that, Stuart Harris will be having a session in the bar where you can just talk about anything. And don't be afraid to speak up. Don't think, oh, these people seem incredibly confident. They're not. I would say there are more introverts in the PSA than extroverts. And I know that after a 3-day convention, I'm absolutely shattered. And that is the definition of an introvert as far as I'm concerned, because extroverts are energized by large groups of people. Introverts are worn out by large groups of people. And I know that because the PSA expert on introverts is a mate of mine, John Baker, and he told me. So what the PSA is really good at is referring each other. We're like a great big gang. We love referring each other. If I'm doing an event, they don't want me the next year because they've had me this year. They'll say, who else could we have? And I'll refer somebody else, perhaps someone in a similar field to me. It's all about collaborations. Do not think of other speakers as rivals. They're not. There's plenty of work to go around. So network, especially with people that talk on similar subjects to you, because you can then refer them next time when they want a similar speaker. Or maybe you might have a double booking, for example, and you think, I can't do that, but I know someone that speaks similar stuff. I'll refer it to them, and hopefully they will pay it back, and they will. People are very good like that. So Alan Stevens was the only person I knew when I joined the PSA, and he does a lot of very similar things to do with speaker coaching, media training, things like that. I've done a lot of collaborations with him. Guy Clapperton, I've worked with a lot on media training. I've emceed events for Andy Lapata. Just recently, Michelle Mills-Porter has sent someone my way that wants some advice on voiceovers. If I want to know how the brain reacts to learning, I would talk to the current president, Linda Shaw, neuroscientist. If I need contract advice, I'd go to former president Tiffany Kemp or PSA fellow Sarah Fox. Any subject, once you've been in the PSA long enough, you'll think, I know the person to go to on that. LinkedIn, for example, Sam Rattling, PSA fellow. She's the best in Europe on LinkedIn. But you have to build up that trust so that I feel like I could ring up Sam now and say, Sam, I've done something stupid on LinkedIn. What can I do about it? And she'll say, well, if I was you, you shouldn't have done it, but you can get out of it by doing this. Remember, though, that none of the members get paid. There's a few people in head office do, but most people are volunteers, so don't lean on them too heavily. When I was PSA London president, I found it very, very rewarding, wonderful time, but it was very, very hard work, and you will make friends for life. But ideally, put your hand up, don't always put your hand out. Graham Davis, great friend of mine, barrister, speaker, and when I had trouble once getting paid for a job that I'd done, it was him that gave me all the legal advice so I could get that money. So, closing thoughts, PSA convention, don't be put off. Remember, most people are going to have struggled over the last year because all the events disappeared and our income went with it. No matter how well people say they're doing, they might just be putting on a brave face, so do not give people a hard time. Go to the fringe events, go to all the sessions on Zoom especially, because then you'll actually be in vision communicating with people rather than just watching on a screen. Use the chat box, but ask questions. Don't necessarily use it to demonstrate what an expert you are on the subject and why you'd have been a better choice than the speaker. Don't go into transmit mode, I think is what I'm saying. Do receiving as well. My wife once said to me, who actually listens at a PSA event when they're all speakers? And I said to her, the clever ones. The clever ones are the ones that listen to the other people. And the last thing is nail that 30-second what do you talk about. Do not be caught, if you come along and you go, then you haven't prepared for it. So that's the only homework you need to do. This is who I am. This is where I'm from. This is what I speak about. This is why people trust me on this. And then Don't then carry on talking about yourself. Say, what do you speak about? And that start of that conversation, honestly, this weekend could be where you find your tribe, and your speaking is just going to absolutely take off. Let me just finish by telling you about 2007, my first ever PSA event. I live in Isleworth, and just down the road at the Radisson Edwardian Hotel by Heathrow Airport was the 2007 convention. Alan Stevens had come to my wedding the year before. He used to be a guest on my radio show every week. And he said he'd seen me at my wedding I did a 28-minute speech at my wedding. And it was quite funny, if I say so myself. And Alan said, could you be the speaker at the gala dinner in 2007 for the PSA? And I thought, that'll be brilliant. I bet that pays really well. It didn't pay at all. Nobody gets paid for speaking at PSA events. So that was disappointing. So I went along, and literally on the Friday, I took loads of photos because I like photography. I took loads of photos of the speakers on the stage, and I think everyone thought I was something to do with the hotel because I just kept taking photos. And then there was an event for the international body, which is now the Global Speakers Federation, but then it was the International Federation of Professional Speakers, I think. And someone from Australia or New Zealand or somewhere had turned up with the flag to put up at this breakfast event on the Saturday, and it was the most crumpled flag you'd ever seen because it had been in their suitcase. So I said, I'll iron that for you, and I went off and got an iron and started ironing, and I think people really did think I worked for the hotel. And then suddenly, come the Saturday night, everyone's in their dinner jackets and fancy frocks, and I'm suddenly the after-dinner speaker, and I think that really did catch everybody out. But then after that, I loved it so much. I found my tribe, and the next year I compared one of the days, and I've been there ever since. So do enjoy it. Don't be put off. Speak up. Don't think, actually, I'm a bit daunted by this, and go into your shell. Just go for it, and you'll love it. And hopefully I'll see you in one of those breakout rooms when we do the speed dating.